Aristide Kell served as a Vindicare assassin during the Horus Heresy. Raised within the slums of the hive world of Faxted Duchy, Aristide would survive the annihilation of the Kell dynasty alongside his sister, Jenica Solam. Their family slain by a rival house of aristocrats, the two orphans would be inducted into the Imperium Schola Progenium and train as aspirants of the Officio Assassinorum. Focused solely on avenging the death of his parents, Kell would be given the means to slay the man responsible for the death of his family. Though successful in his mission, many innocent civilians would perish in the process, yet be deemed negligible by the authorities of the Assassinorum. Later dispatched by Malcador the Sigillite during the dark days of the Horus Heresy, Kell would be tasked with ending the life of the renegade warmaster, Horus Lupercal. Alongside the assassins of the Colexus, Eversor, Calidus, and Varnus temples, the band comprised of Iota, Coin, Fontariel, the Garantine, and his sister would attempt the suicidal undertaking. As the first execution force ever tasked with such a dangerous mission, the assassins would travel to the planet of Dagonet during the upheaval of civil war ravaging the world's populace. Observing their target, Kell would seemingly slay Horus Lupercal with a shot of his rifle. Yet the being within the armor of the War Master would be a ruse. Killing the sons of Horus Captain Luke Cedere, the assassins would retreat from the reprisal of the 16th Legion. Confronted by the demonic assassin tasked with killing the Emperor, known as Spear, the execution force would slay the heretical Colexus assassin at the cost of all of them dying, save for Kell. Alone, Aristide would infiltrate the Sons of Horus flagship, the Vengeful Spirit, and continue his mission to slay the War Master. Failing once more to end Horus's life, Kell would hide within the bowels of the Gloriana warship for years, biding his time for another opportunity to end the Lupercal's life. His sanity would wane as the isolation and fell aura of the War Master's flagship corroded his mind. Discovered by the Sons of Horus, Kell would submit himself to the War Master to face death, yet the Lupercal would recognize the tenacity of Aristide Kell and convince the assassin to join the traitor cause. Tasked with the assassination of the first living saint of the Imperium, Euphrates Keeler, Kell would be dispatched upon Holy Terror to carry out his mission. Within Salvaguardia, Kell would slay the adherents of the Lectitio Divinitatus alongside the Alpha Legion operative, Taln. Gleaning Keeler's location within the safe house of the Walking City, Kell would track Euphrates to the Hesperides orbital plate. Confronted by the Knights Errant, led by the former Death Guard battle captain, Nathaniel Garrow, Kell and Haln would blend into the flock of the worshippers of the Emperor to reach their target. Nathaniel Garrow would slay Haln in his attempt to injure Keeler, as Kell fired upon the pilgrims from a sniping position. Losing his hand to the Blade of Libertas, Kell would concede defeat in the wake of the Astartes judgment. As a last act for contrition, Garrow would ask Kell why he had turned against the light of the Imperium, to which Kell would respond that all who fought on both sides of the war were traitors, betrayers, and turncoats. The ramblings of a madman, ended by the Agentia Primus, Kell would die as a shade of his former resolve and duty as an instrument of the Emperor's will.